Hello and welcome to Newysports TV for round 16 of the New FM First Division. I am Ty Stedman, and tonight Newysports TV is celebrating however many episodes this is, and unfortunately I wasn't quick enough with my flicking between screens to find what episode number this is. This is episode 22. That's what I was going to say, and it would have been right. Episode 22 of Newysports TV has arrived. We've taken we've taken a week or two off, a week off. I don't even know. A week feels like 2 weeks around these parts. Still a lot of football to get through. There was a lot of football last week, the FFA Cup. Let's talk about that a little bit. I did get to say in written form what I thought about it, but I haven't spoken about it yet. I don't have the stats here, so I won't go too much into detail, but Belmont-Swansea, I fought against Lambton Jaffas last week. It was a proud performance. I'm not going to lie, I was there with the Belmont colours on, supporting the competition, supporting one of the best teams in the competition, and they really put up a fight against the Jaffas. They led twice. I thought the miracle might have happened, but it didn't, and the Jaffas eventually did go through. Singleton as well against Thornton. Singleton and Thornton was match of the day, and probably match of the day. It wasn't match of the round, but Jaffas and Olympic definitely best match of the six that I saw last week. But Singleton getting through against Thornton. Thornton very unlucky not to win that game last weekend in the FFA Cup. And then of course the two teams from up north. Norths United, I didn't think really matched Olympic too much. They were just outplayed. Urunga FC, they were outplayed, but they showed some glimpses against Edgeworth, and I can see why that team is considered one of the best from that area. And I met a few people from Urunga as well. Good people. Good to sort of, meet some out-of-towners that, I normally cover New FM, so to meet some people from Urunga and get to know a little bit about their club it's good. And unfortunately I can't come up with any other word than that. It's informative. It's definitely would like to see them back again next year. We'll see how it goes. But and then on Sunday, Jaffas and Olympic, I thought the Jaffas wouldn't get done 5-0, to be honest. The way they played against Swans, Olympic just looked so much better, and then the roles reversed really. The Jaffas very, very good second half against Olympic last week, and they went through, and it was probably the biggest win of the season so far for Lambton. They'd lose today in NPL action, so for them to get to the round of 32, the Jaffas, probably not the most consistent NPL side, but that's a big one for them and for sponsors. And I would say Bridgie might get involved. Currently watching the Euros, and Michael Bridges is on there with Sportsbet, so there you go. But I definitely think he'll be, especially if they draw an A-League team, I think he'll probably pop up, maybe do some interviews or whatnot, and maybe even pull on the shirt for a one-game contract, I don't know. But Jaffas, anything could happen. Olympic, I didn't say it last week, but I'll say it now, that Olympic, they're in a real habit of losing important games. The grand final last year comes to mind. This game comes to mind. It's been 5 years since they won a trophy, and I think they probably won a minor premiership in that time. But for grand final losses and FFA Cup losses, and Olympic definitely they'll be fired up to win the 2016 grand final. They go out of the FFA Cup at the final stage, the final hurdle. They had it in their hand as well. Couldn't hold on to it. The other game, Singleton Strikers. Wow, what a brilliant following it was for Singleton last week. It was piss poor conditions at a facility that isn't the best for the field itself at Lake Macquarie. Lake Macquarie facility is top notch. I'm not going to say anything. All those ACL injuries last year. I wasn't there at that time last year, but all the games I've watched there's been no real concerns with the actual pitch itself. There probably is, I don't know, but it plays like a good pitch, and in literally torrential rain, it didn't seem like the pitch was the drainage there is millions of dollars worth of pitch and drainage and whatnot, so you'd expect that. But I think having the net and the poles and the concrete and the rocks, there's a lot I could say, the pros and cons of the Lake Macquarie facility. And one of the major cons is there's simply no space for wet weather areas. The whole Singleton following, there's literally 40 or 50 people just huddled under one marquee. I was one of those people, and it was very, very supportive, and it was great to see. It was probably the biggest game in Singleton's history in the last 20 years or so, and they were fired up for it. And look, they were never going to probably get close to Edgeworth, if I'm going to be completely honest. It pains me to say that. I'm a passionate follower of the New FM competition, but there is a standard gap, and Edgeworth, without Daniel McBreen, putting 6 or 7, I think it was 7 past Singleton. So that's the two teams, Edgeworth and the Jaffas. Of course, Edgeworth know all too well what it's like to get an A-League team. They should have beat Melbourne City last year. I was there for that with 2,500 people. Regardless of what you think about Edgeworth, that night there was 2,500 people there, and a lot of them were behind the Edgeworth Eagles. It just makes you get behind the region. And the same can be said for the Jaffas, and I'm looking forward to seeing who those teams get, and that is this Tuesday. So excited. I'll be tuning into the draw and hoping for their sake that they can get a big money game against an A-League team, or maybe they can get an easy draw against a team from somewhere. I'm not going to name places, maybe Northern Territory. Avoid those Sydney and Melbourne-based teams, and get a team from somewhere else. The Surfers Paradise Apollo come to mind as a 3rd or 4th division club from Queensland that made the round of 32. If Edgeworth draw them, then Edgeworth, in my opinion, goes straight through to the round of 16. We'll see what happens though. So that's the FFA Cup last week. The midweek games we won't talk about, I can't really remember, but let's get into what happened today. Today I was at West Wallsend, Johnson Park, for West Wallsend Bluebells versus the Thornton Redbacks. And I had those two shirts hanging up right in front of the speaker set up there. Very nice today, a very enjoyable day. I'm going to say it got a little bit cold. I don't normally complain about temperature, but it was friggin' freezing. That's an understatement. This jacket, I don't think I've ever worn this jacket. It's been in the car, ready to be put on, and it had to be put on today, and it was very, very cold. And I knew it would be. The 4 o'clock kickoff of first grade, and as soon as that sun sets there at Johnson Park, temperature drop. Credit to all the players. I'm here with 3 jackets, a shirt, and another shirt underneath, 2 pairs of socks. I almost had gloves on, and the players are out there in jerseys and shorts and socks. Would have been freezing. It was pretty cold at the start of the day too. Early morning kickoff, not that early, 10:45. I enjoy the late kickoffs in the 17s, but I don't enjoy being there at 5:30 in near pitch black conditions. I'd probably stick with the 9:15 during winter. That's not Westie's decision though. Under 17s fixture this morning, West Wallsend 4 defeating the Thornton Redbacks 1. Let's get on track. This is what the video should be about. New FM round 16. West Wallsend, they headed into this game as favourites in my opinion. I'm not going to lie, I tipped a 4-1 result. It ended 4-1, so you can't really go wrong with that. They had damaging force out wide, and they were absolutely dominated. In the first 15 minutes or so, I was wondering how Thornton... I've seen teams this year in the 17s, Cessnock comes to mind, getting 11 goals put past them, and Westie certainly looked threatening early on against Thornton, and Thornton were struggling. and I don't think you can sugarcoat that. Josh Knight probably had 3 or 4 shots at goal in the first 15 minutes. It could have easily been 2-3, possibly even 4-0 after 15 minutes, but it wasn't. Knighty was sort of getting the best of some of the Thornton defenders. Mitchell Roy was one of those defenders, and it was a tactical change. They moved Mitchell Roy from the right side to the left and put Zach Wolf there, and I thought he really matched it well with Knighty. Bigger size and just a lot more physical, I thought. Mitchell Roy's a very good fullback though, so I can't take anything away from him, but Zach Wolf very impressive today. And Wolf and Knight, they had a great running battle. Knight is very good at those running battles. The one with Jackson Manning comes to mind a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, Josh Knight was the main outlet, and on the opposite side, the side that Mitchell Roy got moved to was Kai Drayton, a very technical attacker, a very good attacker, but one attacker who hasn't found the net that much this year, and he did today. After 1 or 2 chances, Thornton's goalkeeper Blake McDonald, probably the best goalkeeper at that club, in my opinion. Maybe don't chuck him into first grade. That's not saying that, I think Chris Berg and Mick Hugo are probably more experienced, but in terms of potential, I think Blake McDonald's got a lot of it, and he's a real standout this year. He made an awful error that led to Kai Drayton just having an easy goal to make it 1-0 in the 31st minute. And that's a surprise to me. When I was writing this review, I didn't know what the goal times were, but 31st minute, it should have been 3 or 4-0, I think, inside 20 minutes. The match video will be uploaded so you can decide for yourself, but with all due respect to Thornton, I thought they were severely up against it early on and lucky not to find themselves a few goals down. Westie, they got on the front foot, 31st minute goal, and then 3 minutes later Josh Knight made it 2-0, and it was 2-0 at half time. Straight off the kickoff of the second half, I knew something was on, because there was no less than 6 West Wallsend players on halfway. They tried the set, maybe training ground move, I guess you could say. It almost paid off too. They almost scored a goal to make it 3. They didn't. Thornton, they didn't create too many chances at all in the first half. I think there was one stage they had a free kick, and Josh Davies got subbed on, and I figured, hey, they're putting on their top scorer here just for the free kick, but he wasn't actually involved in the free kick. They were definitely, the chances they had, the corners, they were trying their hardest to get something out of it, because they didn't get too many chances today. There was one though, one very good chance. Aiden Hesketh powered forward, a very good player, a player that I remember praising earlier this year when they played Wallsend. He got the ball to James Cooper, another good player, and passed it to another good player in the form of Sasha Keats. And that was 2-1 for Thornton, Keats scoring in the 45th minute. Moments later though, it was back on again. Josh Knight got the ball to Jared Hayter, went one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and the ball just got over the line. 3-1 to Westie. Brock Taylor had a chance late on to score, but it was saved by McDonald, and Jared Hayter, with moments left in the game, made it 4-1 to seal a 4-1 victory and seal my prediction as a 4-1 win. Just saying, I like getting the score right. Sorry, Thornton, but the better team did win today. Let's be serious about that. And they move into top spot depending on Lake's result tomorrow. We'll be talking about that very soon. A good win for West Wallsend. Jared Hayter, especially today, really. He's a player that I feel hasn't been mentioned. I've probably said this 100 times. Every time I mention him, I say that he hasn't been mentioned. He has, but definitely a player that, Josh Knight's probably the standout goal scorer there, but Jared Hayter is a very handy goal scorer too. Thornton, I want to say they look a better side than their position suggests, but someone's got to occupy the bottom spot. But today they certainly didn't look like the worst team in the competition on the table. They'll get better, and you only need to look at where they were last year. They didn't win a game last year, and I think they've won 2 or so this year, so that's already an improvement, and there's a couple of draws to throw in there. Aiden Hesketh, I think, is probably the standout player in that side, but a player today who I haven't mentioned, that I can remember mentioning this year, is Connor Morley. I thought he had a brilliant game today, limped off injured towards the end. Blake McDonald, classy goalkeeper, and a new player, I believe. I got told that he's new. Jacob Annan in midfield was also pretty handy. So Josh Knight makes it 19 goals for the season. He's overtaken Sam Jones as the top goal scorer for West Wallsend Football Club. Jared Hayter goes to 10, and Kai Drayton, as good as he is, Kai Drayton, he's only got 3 goals this year, which is a surprise. I remember him scoring a few in pre-season, so maybe it's his position out on the wing. He'll get better, next year. There's a lot of potential there. Sasha Keats' first goal for Thornton this year, according to my stats. So the under-19s, we move on. West Wallsend 2, drawing Thornton Redbacks 2. A strange game, I got to say. All 4 goals coming in the first 25 minutes or so. Jack Halverson's in-swinging free kick found the back of the net. My view was impeded by a speaker. That's the problem, being the ground announcer. You're generally sitting behind a speaker, and I was. So I didn't actually, from what I saw, the bits I saw, I didn't see the whole, I saw the kick and I saw the ball end up in the net. I gave the goal to Jack Halverson. And the referee gave the goal to Jack Halverson, so that's a 3rd-minute goal. But Westie have told me that it was an own goal to Jamie Ellis, so make what you will of that. But on the Newysports stats, Jack Halverson will get credited with that goal. Brady Broderick had a chance from a free kick. Thornton, they'd eventually find a 2-goal lead, an unexpected 2-goal lead. Halverson scored a header and became Thornton's leading goal scorer for 2016 with 9 goals. We'll talk about that in a second. Westie, they fight into action. That really just, I think that, to be honest, that pissed them off, being 2 goals down, and a quick fire double to Matt Turner put them back in the match 2-2 after 25 minutes. Halverson came very close to scoring a hat-trick as he tried to pounce on some nervous errors at the back. Westie's goalkeeper, Matt Pennington, was having a bit of a shocker at times. I don't know if it was... Well, no, it wasn't the wind. There was no wind. Goalkeepers sometimes have off days, but he got it together, luckily. The shot would miss and his blushes were saved. Pennington happy that one didn't go in. Up the other end, Westie's Matt Turner came very close to grabbing his own hat-trick, denied by Jordan Brewer. An even game in the second half, much of the same. Thornton, again, they proved to be a better side than their position suggests. Westie had the better chances, but it was Thornton who should, could, and would have won the game if the ball ended up in the net. It was just... time froze, I think, as the ball got to Will Miles Schofield in front of goal, point blank, and he missed and collapsed to the ground and in disbelief that it didn't go in, and that was with a minute to go. That was to win the game. Will Miles Schofield, under 17s player that's, they're not good. Would have been nice for that one to go in. Thornton, again, that would come back to haunt them in first grade as well, the late chance. We'll talk about that soon. Quality effort from Thornton against the top 4 side. Another player I haven't seen this year, I don't know if he's been there all year, but Sam Herney impressed at right back. But Jack Halverson, man of the match in my opinion, and a player who I think, if I was going to pick a best squad of 19s players, of course I'm involved at Cooks Hill, so I want to do that. I want to pick a team of non-Cooks Hill players, and the Cooks Hill 19s actually aren't that good at the moment, but Halverson would go very close to making that team, if not the bench. I don't think he'd get a lot of attention being at Thornton. You hear more about Bellswans, you hear about, the Dundasses, you hear about the Nicholsons at Bellswans, you hear about, Lakes, Richardson, and all them people, all those players. You don't hear much about Halverson, and he's the standout at Thornton at the moment, and it certainly proved today. He's now their top scorer with 9, and that's what I want to bring up. That's not very good. Thornton Redbacks, I think they're probably the lowest, maybe Toronto, but maybe even Cessnock, but they don't seem to have any they don't have any goal scorers that have double digits, that's not good. I guess they're spreading it around a little bit, but you want to see someone like Josh Knight, who's got 19 goals. Joel Nicholson at Bellswans has 23. There's a lot of players out there with 16, 15, 14. So Halverson's getting there, but Thornton, maybe some shooting practice at training, I don't know. But for the top goal scorer in the entire club to be on 9 goals after 14 games, I guess that's not too bad. But there's just plenty of other goal scorers out there. They've got more. Matt Turner is one of them. He's moved to 11 for West Wallsend. We moved to the under-23s, where West Wallsend 2 were defeated by Thornton Redbacks 5. Should have been more. Westie 23s at the moment. I watched them 2 weeks ago at Wallsend, and it was very, very poor, and it was 4-0 at half time, and there's nothing that annoys me, well, not annoys me, nothing I don't, I watch a lot of games, and games where it's 3 or 4-0 at half time, I just cannot stand those sort of games. We'll talk about the first half. Thornton got on the front foot in the 10th minute, Jared Abbott scoring a goal, and then Westie, they were under the pump. A Jordan Whitchurch free kick ended up in the back of the net, courtesy of a touch to Liam Penglaze. Westie had an uphill battle, and then moments later it became a mountain. A sloppy penalty at the back given away, Penglaze to make it 3-0 for Thornton, and that's how it was at half time. And look, the second half, to be honest with you, it was never going to be that competitive. The game was over before half time. To their credit, Westie did get a goal. Grant Morrow scored in the 56th minute. And even then at 3-1, I figured, they got one. I don't think they're going to get 3. And then it just all went down the drain, because less than 60 seconds later, Thornton went down the other end and scored. Jared Abbott getting his second, and that is game over. Matt Pennington was injured late in the last game. Before that, the 19s. So standout 17s keeper Josh Snedden was forced into goals for the 23s and did very well under enormous pressure. Westie's 23, it's just, I don't really know what to say. I don't want to be too harsh, but it wasn't very good today. Again, you'd expect better, and that's the thing. They haven't been getting smashed all year. They're a better side than what they played today. I've seen them play better. I know they can play better. The 3-3 draw at Cooks Hill, I wasn't there for that. I was actually playing that day, but that was a quality result, and it seems like a very long time ago. So Thornton would get a 5-1 lead. A goal to Liam Penglaze, sealing his hat-trick. Here's a fun fact. I've watched Thornton's 23s 3 times this year, and twice has a player scored a hat-trick. Callan Baxter versus Wallsend, and now Liam Penglaze. And to go further than that, the last 4 times I've watched the Thornton 23s, they have been undefeated. There was today, and then before today there was a game against Cooks Hill that I believe they drew. I'm not sure on that. They might have even won it. Before that, there was the infamous washout game at Singleton, where half the world got washed away. And then before that was the Wallsend game, where it was 4-4 draw. And before that was the grand final. So maybe I'm a good luck charm. I don't know. They've drawn a couple of those, but they definitely. I've never seen Thornton's 23s lose that I can remember. And they might have lost at the athletics field last year, and even then I wasn't there. I was playing that day, so I've seen them play 5 games, I believe, off the top. They did lose, I remember last year. Don't worry, let's not go back to last year. Let's not go back to stats, right? A hat-trick for Liam Penglaze. That's the be-all, end-all. That's what happened today. And he now has a certain amount of goals. I don't know how many it is. I think it's 6 or 7. But he shoots straight up that Thornton goal scorers list. Jared Abbott goes to 4. And Grant Morrow would score a couple goals for Westy. 5-2 is the final score there. A fairly one-sided contest, I'm not going to lie. Westy, they fought hard in the second half, but it was just not good enough. And one moment that really summed it up for me is Thornton's centre-back. He strolled straight through midfield, like literally straight through midfield. The centre-back. That's not good. That's not good at all. And, you know, it rewound the clock to Tarek Elrich in the A-League, just going straight through the middle of the field and scoring a bomb goal. That didn't happen today, but Westy's 23s leave a lot to be desired at the moment. 18 goals conceded in 3 games. So it was a little bit of a tough day at the office for Josh Snedden, being forced into goals for the 23s, but he did well. Probably stopped it from being more. I'm not sure how many more, but credit, his dad is the president at Barnsley, and I've been kindly gifted some Barnsley stuff. I've got the stubby holder, and there's a hat as well, and this really nice shirt. So credit there to I can't remember what his name is. I know the players' names, but yeah, it's Josh Snedden's father. There you go, the Barnsley Bulldogs. So some credit there for a team that I've never actually watched. A team that their senior club, I said, are probably going to get relegated and probably still will. But no, that's very nice. And Josh Snedden, I think, I'll be doing some Newysports, best goalkeeper in 17s or whatever. He's won it. There's 6 or 7 weeks ago. He's the best goalkeeper in the 17s competition. There's no ifs, there's no buts. By far the best. Maybe not by far, but that could be a bit of an overstatement. There's players like Brady McRitchie at Lakes. I can't think of any others. Eamon Doyle, Cooks Hill. Cameron Jefferson Bill at Wallsend. But no, Josh Snedden going very well at the moment. We move back to first grade. Actually, fun fact there, the Barnsley Bulldogs is where most of the Westie 17s came from last season. Well, most, but I don't know if it's most. It's a fair few. So there's a bit of a feeder club there for West Wallsend. First grade, let's move on. First grade, this is going, there's a little clock here and it says 28:30. So this has been going for 28 minutes and this is only the first half. So it's going to be a long episode. West Wallsend 2, drawing Thornton Redbacks 2. Same situation as 19s, 2-2 at half time. Very good to see youngsters Nick Evans from Westie and Jacob Bartlett from Thornton. Not so surprised about Bartlett getting the start, but Nick Evans getting the start was. I saw the name on the team sheet and I thought, that's good. Definitely deserved, and was probably one of their main outlets today. Jack Halverson was on the bench for Daryl McAllister's Redbacks team. Thornton, they started the better of the two sides, but it was Westie who'd opened the scoring. 13 minutes in, penalty. I haven't rewatched the replay yet, but live I thought, yeah, penalty, that's fair. Jared Olivieri stepped up for the penalty and it was very, very poor. Straight at the goalkeeper, very sort of casual looking penalty, and it comes straight back to Olivieri and he made no mistake with the second chance, putting it away. The big dog scores 1-0 to Westie. Not even a minute passed. because that goal went in and I thought, that's Thornton's finals hopes could be going down the drain with that goal. And not even a minute later, Jamie Subet got his name on the score sheet with a decent finish. Not long after that, Kieran Kerr should have had Thornton in the lead. His shot was saved and it cannoned off the goalpost. The resulting corner was headed in by Kieran Kerr, and 2-1 Thornton led. Just like earlier, that lead only lasted 2 or 3 minutes. Westie hit straight back through Ryan Cole, played through on goal, a one-on-one chance against Chris Berg, and he won that one-on-one chance. Thornton's Josh Benaquista came very close to scoring a cracking goal from distance. Just a it's a hammering shot. Would have stung the hands of Westie's Tyler Warren in goal. The second half saw chances for both sides, but neither could find the net. Ryan Cole had a chance early on, and Tyler Warren again, he was on fire today, denied Jamie Subet not once but twice, which is very, very difficult to do. Very quick saves. And we spoke about Josh Snedden in the 17s being a very, very high quality goalkeeper. He's probably not even the best that West Wallsend have, because Tyler Warren this year, take nothing away, has been, in my opinion, one of the top 2 goalkeepers in the competition, along with Luke Jennings at Wallsend. He's been a real standout, and he's, for the lack of better terms, he's saved Westie's asses a fair few times this year. But when you got defenders, Westie, strong team. Let's get through the rest of this match and then talk about him. Nick Evans was one of the main outlets, like I said. Had a heading chance. It wasn't to be. As the sun set and the temperatures dropped to near freezing. I would have been interested to see what the actual, I know there's a difference between temperature and actual air temperature. The actual air temperature would have been approaching, very low single digits, in my opinion, 5 or 4 degrees. It was freezing. The game fizzled out to a draw. It could have been much different for Thornton with moments left in the game. Tim Gleeson from out of nowhere just had this shot that it was a cracking shot, and it dipped just over the top of the bar, and it was just an amazing shot, and it would have been goal of the season in any grade, any match that I've seen. This would have been the best goal of the year. Andre Gumprecht's winner against Singleton comes to mind, but this goal, this would have won it, put Thornton straight back in finals contention. So they've got a big game against Bell-Swans midweek, and I'm hoping to be there. And again, it's probably going to be freezing. I'm not going to lie. I've been to Melbourne in mid-July, and West Wallsend was almost as cold, maybe even the same. I don't know. So Jamie Subet scored his second goal of the new FM season. He got one last week in the FFA Cup, of course. Kieran Kerr got his first goal of the season, according to my stats. And for Westie, Ryan Cole has 8, while the big dog, Jared Olivieri, is up to a whopping 6 goals. And I say whopping because I wouldn't have sat here at the start of the year and predicted that Jared Olivieri would have 6 goals. More of a midfielder, but it was a penalty rebound today, but definitely one of a very technical player. For his build, a very technical player, and that's another thing about Westie, that they're a strong team, Westie, and regardless of the fact that finals looks very, very unlikely, they've got a lot to build on, and their defence, like Michael Bailey and Ryan Van Kemenade, just a brilliant defence there. They had another one out there. I forget who the centre back was, but some good defenders there and some good players further forward. Wasn't their day, wasn't Thornton's day either. There's no debating whose day it was in the other game. It was South Cardiff's day in all 4 grades. Let's just go through it. In the under-17s, Toronto-Awaba 0, defeated by South Cardiff 1. Toronto's finals hopes, in my opinion, go out the window with that result. they've had a lot of draws lately, and even a draw I think wouldn't have been enough, and a loss just does a lot of damage to their season. It's been good though, but they'll be very disappointed with that, falling away from the top 2 or top 3 where they were. 60th minute, only goal of the game, and I would have predicted this, a goal to Lucas Emmett Morley. 5th goal of the season, and Southie get the win. And surely that is curtains on Toronto's finals hopes. Under 19s, Toronto-Awaba 0, defeated by South Cardiff 6. There's no sugarcoating that. That's a heavy loss again for Toronto. Southie move up into 5th position, but they're a long way out of finals. I think there's a couple teams with some games in hand, so we'll see what happens there. But Southie keep their slim finals hopes alive with a highly convincing win. James Wooten stood out as of late, and he scored 3 goals today, a hat-trick for Wooten, 14 for the season, 3-0 at half-time, all those goals in the first half to James Wooten. The pain continued in the second half. Will Kirby got a goal, Josh Iannazzo got a goal, and Isaac Roman scored again. I don't even know what's happening there. Southie's captain all of a sudden has 3 goals in 3 games. I don't know. Maybe he's just going to keep scoring. I'm just going to keep saying he's got another one. That could work. I don't know. But a good day for Southie, a good day for Isaac Roman, good day for James Wooten. A bad day for Toronto. Josh Davis sent off late on to add insult to injury, or injury to insult. Not really injury. To add, insult to injury, really. So Southie win there 6-0 in the under-19s. Under-23s, Toronto-Awaba 0, defeated by South Cardiff 3. Goal scorers Trent Lambourne, Aaron Gunn and Ben McCabe. I'm starting to learn the names of these 23s players at Southie because I'm writing them a lot lately because they are in form. And they're in second and they're going to be playing finals football, I believe. And they may very well be the only Southie team in finals, so they've definitely got a lot to play for, and if they can keep that up, they will be playing finals football. Toronto still struggling in that grade. First grade, Toronto-Awaba 0, defeated by South Cardiff 2. Southie finally breaking that winless run. Both goals come just in the last 2 minutes before half-time. Cameron Herring and Nick Pepper scoring the goals for Andrew Packer's South Cardiff side. They've got a midweek trip to Singleton, which is going to be very difficult, very cold. So Southie complete a clean sweep, which if I correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's their first of the season. Toronto did not score a goal in any grade today, which I've spoken to one of the committee members there, and they said it wasn't a lack of effort. The effort was good, but it's just it's not good. The results aren't good for Toronto. I don't think you can really sugarcoat that. But with that in mind, there's a lot to look forward to at that club. I'll tell you that. Next year, there's 6 weeks to go, and then the off season, and then before you know it, you're back for 2017. And I think Toronto is going to be a side to watch over the next few years. What they're getting together there. I'm just going to say that there's probably some players there that are sort of questioning. They're losing week in, week out. You got to stay strong, and you only need to look at where West Wallsend were last year in a similar boat across a few grades. And yes, the 23s are not playing very well, but for West Wallsend themselves, if you look at the club championship, they're very high on that table across most grades. The 19s, 17s are doing great. I think that's what it is. It's a building exercise in Toronto. I think we'll get that together over the next few years. We'll move on to the NPL, where the Lambton Jaffas 2 were defeated by Broadmeadow Magic 4. So after getting into the FFA Cup, that big win last week, the Jaffas come crashing back to earth with a 4-2 loss at home to Magic. They will not be liking that at all. James Virgili made it 12 goals for the season, the top goal scorer in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Cale Bradbury made it 2-0. And then John Madrowski and Joel Wood scoring goals for the Jaffas. Good to see Madge on the score sheet. Big fan of his. An exciting and pacey attacker, Paulie Shawalwi. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I just know him as Paulie from my time at Magic over the last, not this year, but over the last few years. A great player to watch, Paulie, and he got on the score sheet today in first grade, which is great, and also good to see Shane Paul get a goal. I'll be seeing his father Brad tomorrow at Belmont-Swansea. Shane's a very good player, and obviously you've got to be a good player to be playing NPL for Broadmeadow Magic. Big win for them today, 4-2. Under 22s Magic 4-1 and under 19s Magic 4-1. Not a good day for the Jaffas. And then Zone League, we'll talk about that in the Zone League show. So we're done for the night. It's been 41 minutes. My apologies. This episode's going to go well over an hour, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I'm supposed to be watching the Euros, and it's probably half time by now, and you can't go wrong with that. This has been a very long video, and Switzerland and Poland, it's 0-0. So there you go. So that is the first half of episode 22 of Newysports TV. I'm Ty Stedman. Belmont and Kahibah tomorrow. We'll be talking about it in literally 10 seconds. I will see you then. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 21 of Newysports TV. I'm Ty Stedman. Today reviewing, and I'm going to get straight into this because last night's video went for no less than 48 minutes. And when you chuck the intro video in there, that takes it close to 50. So this is going to be a very, very long episode, and in some ways that's good, in other ways that's pretty bad. Today, Belmont-Swansea United versus Kahibah FC, the jerseys here in the background. So we'll get straight into it. Under 17s, Belmont-Swansea United 0, defeated by Kahibah FC 2. An even opening, and I'm going to probably say that about every game I talk about because that's generally my opening point, because in football most games open that way, and this one did. I thought, first of all, Connor Cromartie made a rare appearance in the 17s for Kahibah due to Jaden Demir and possibly even Jacob Hill, I believe, playing in the 19s. I'm not sure if Jacob Hill's been there, normally in the 23s or, first grade bench. But there's some switches in the 19s team, so Connor Cromartie played in the 17s and did very well in that age group. We'll move on, and we'll move on to another player. Cromartie, known for his pink boots. I've not been a fan of the pink boots all season, and funny enough, same pair of boots being worn now by Lachlan McMaster at Belmont-Swansea. And you can check it, that's not even in the review, that's me being a boot, I don't know, boot perfectionist, not sure. My boots probably should be dusted off. It has been a very long time since I used them. That being said, I definitely should be using them soon. The problems have been a media man. So yeah, let's just move on because this is just getting silly already. Lachlan McMaster, a player that I've become familiar with in a fullback role most of the season. I'm not sure if he's permanent fullback or if that's his preferred position, I don't know. But he played at Cam today, which is central attacking midfielder, as you'd probably know. And did a very fine job of it throughout the match. In-swinging free kick was dangerous. A fairly powerful shot stung the gloves of Zach Ireland, and I don't pay too much attention, but I didn't realise Lachlan McMaster was actually left-footed until today. That's something that I feel like, as a pundit, as someone who writes about these grades every week. I should probably know that. And they utilise that. And fun fact for you, Cooks Hill 17s last year, if I remember correctly, did not have a single left-footed player in the 16 or 17 that were available. So I definitely think the value of having some left-footed players is underrated. The best you can get, this is coming from someone who's right-footed, is someone who can kick with both feet, and there's not too many of them around. There's some, but a lot of people are one-footed. I am one of those people. Yes, but definitely handy having the left-footed player there. The home side were on the front foot. Jacob Windsor just proving to be a thorn in the side of the Kahibah defenders. He had probably 2 or 3 really good chances. Probably 2 of those 3 chances should have been goals across the entire match. Another movement that I sort of noticed, normal centre-back Joseph Haddon for Kahibah was up front, and I don't know why that is. I overheard someone saying it's because blah 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 training something. I don't know. Maybe that's where he has been at training. He's tall, it works, but it didn't really. Well, they won today, but he didn't score, so it didn't really work. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going for there. The opening goal and only goal of the first half coming from Kahibah. A dangerous corner from. I didn't actually. Well, I did, but I forget who took the corner. And then it took me 5 hours to go and ask the coach who took the corner. I asked him during first grade. He said it was Casey Jackson. I didn't think Casey Jackson was on the field at the time. I don't even know, but apparently that's who it was. The coach should know. It wasn't his goal anyway. It was an own goal from Daniello Apollonia, the goalkeeper for Bell-Swans. Fumbled it into his own net. A very dangerous corner from Casey Jackson, who did play very well today. A player that, another one of those players in the 17s that I haven't really mentioned, that I can remember mentioning in terms of, talking about them. You can tell this is not teleprompted. This is live, and that's not good. We'll move on. That's probably the best thing to do. William Dunn had the first real chance of the second half, a long-range attempt for Bell-Swans. Jacob Windsor continuing to bring some quality up front. But at the other end, Kahibah had a look in through Seb Krecker. And then, with 10 minutes to go, Bell-Swans started throwing players forward, and they would get caught out on the counter-attack. Kahibah turned the momentum and sealed a 2-0 win with a goal to Kai Condren. And that was the winning goal. Jacob Windsor getting a late chance, but it wasn't enough. So Bell-Swans weekend, I've got a bit of a... I've said some things about the refs that probably aren't good, especially in my capacity at Cooks Hill. I get a bit biased, but even when I'm doing match reviews and stuff, I do say sometimes, this was a blatant, not blatant, but an obvious penalty or whatnot. Don't take it in too much heart. I speak to a lot of the referees, and I'm good terms with a fair few of the referees, and definitely there should be a referee recognition round. I also think there should be maybe volunteer recognition round. I don't know if that might be something to look at for Northern New South Wales football, because I think they're as important as the referees, if not more important. There's no game if there's no refs, and there's no games if there's no volunteers. But no, it's good to see the clubs recognising the referees, although I thought it could have been better rather than just stick a few posters up and, say a couple words on Facebook. I don't know, maybe they should have given them a bit of a round of applause. That's never going to happen. But honestly, the Bell-Swans crowd here in the 17s, it wasn't good enough for my liking. And I don't normally mention crowds, and I don't normally mention crowds in the 17s, but there was a minority, a couple people who quite frankly wouldn't shut up, and they were giving crap to their own players at the time, do this, do that, and is that not what the coach should be doing? That's my question. Parents coaching from the sideline, it happens, but when they're yelling at every single player in the field and just, not shutting up, and then next thing you know, I look over there and they're in an argument with one of the other referees and Kahibah, and it was pretty ordinary. And I don't normally mention it, but I thought I would mention it here because I think that's just a bit much for a 17s game. Kahibah, a couple of their players gave him, a couple of these sort of hand gestures that probably made it a bit worse, but they should, there's better things to be doing in life than going to a soccer game and yelling at opposition players in an under-17s team. I don't know. I just thought it was mentionable. Pretty, I'm not going to say it was crap. I've seen worse than that, but yeah, it was a bit much, and I feel like it should be mentioned. And last but not least, Kahibah shut them up in good fashion. They won 2-0, and you can say all you want about that. That's the result, and that keeps their finals hopes intact. We move on to the under-19s, where Belmont-Swansea United 3 defeated Kahibah FC 2. Jaden Demir made a rare appearance in the 19s. He returned from injury and an overseas holiday. Of course, that hamstring injury has kept him out for 6 or 7 weeks, so good to see Jaden back. A fairly even opening, and Demir was a big part of Kahibah. They were pushing forward. Blake Gates made a save to deny a quality player in the form of Cameron Lodge, who we'll talk about in a second. He had a shot, it was saved by Blake Gates, and then William Dundas got the tap-in rebound past the keeper, 18th minute goal. Cameron Lodge did only play the first half of the 19s. Definitely a first-grade player at Belmont-Swansea, and it was very interesting to see him playing in the 19s. I'm not sure why that was. Again, Demir is a first grader for Kahibah, but he didn't play first grade today. It was interesting to see Cameron Lodge playing 19s, and I think he's probably, he's very, very good for that grade, and that's why he's playing first grade. Will Dundas came incredibly close to scoring a quick-fire double, smashed it against the post. Kahibah, they just fell away. As soon as that goal went in, they just dropped off and were lucky not to be down by 2 or 3 at half-time. The second half, Will Dundas found himself through on goal, made no mistake, 2-0, and then the situation became worse for Kahibah as Arch Johnson made it 3-0 in the 50th minute. This goal was originally reported and announced at the game by yours truly as Joel Nicholson. It wasn't Joel Nicholson who scored, it was Arch Johnson, so there's some credit there. I am going to put that down to 75% of the 19s players at Belmont-Swansea having ponytails. That's what I'm going to put that down to, or hair buns, whatever you like to call it. I get them mixed up and I'll wear it, and Arch Johnson, number 5, was the goal scorer. Joel Nicholson, number 9, was not the goal scorer. So Nicholson stays on 23 for the season. Kahibah, they were looking done and dusted, but from out of nowhere they sort of produced, they would have been done and dusted if Cal Brzezowski didn't make a pretty decent clearance away from the goal line. Connor Bryson making a save to keep his clean sheet alive, but he could do nothing about that. Kahibah making it 3-1 in the 67th minute, bringing the game back to life. Harry Wills got a free, he might have earned the free kick. I'm not sure who earned the free kick. I have to see the replay, but apologies for this goal. This was a brilliant free kick goal. It was one of the best free kicks I've seen this season, and unfortunately the camera angle that we had there wasn't the best. I'm not going to lie. We only filmed the one game today. I didn't do the filming, but it was decided to only film the one game because there wasn't, at Kahibah you're up high, Singleton you're up high in the grandstand. It was ground level and it was pretty poor filming. That's not the fault of the operator. But yes, this free kick, it was filmed, but it wasn't really filmed. It was from a horrible angle, and apologies to Harry Wills, because it was a brilliant free kick and it put Kahibah back in the game, 3-1. One of many players on show in this game from the International Football School, and a very handy player on his day, and someone who can hit a free kick, obviously. A lifeline for the visitors, Jaden Demir scoring with 4 minutes to go. Belmont-Swansea held on for the final whistle, 3-2 the final score, and a big win for Bell Swans as it takes them to the top of the league. Will Dundas, in my opinion, man of the match. And credit to Kahibah for making a contest out of it late on and not fading away from what was a 3-0 deficit. Under 23s, Belmont-Swansea 1, drawing Kahibah FC 1. There you go, another draw in the 23s. One of these days, there are probably 6 or 7 teams in the race for the top 4 now. Just inconsistency in the 23s. Lake Macquarie City they're the premiers. I'm not going to take that away from them. I think they're 9 or 10 points clear with 6 games to go. There's just nothing going to stop them unless they stop themselves. There's just so many inconsistent teams in this grade. This was a decent game, but again, just from a technical goal scoring point, this wasn't the best game because there was only 2 goals and the second half sort of petered out to nothing really. First goal of the game was a delightful free kick to Matt Carroll from Belmont-Swansea. I don't know if he's been there all season. I don't actually remember that name, but I'll remember it now. 13th minute goal to number 15, I believe he was. Not sure on that. It wasn't to last. Kahibah FC hitting back through none other than Alex Evans. You're probably never going to hear the end of that one, especially if he had scored the winner. Good to see Alex on the score sheet, in all seriousness. 1-1 in the opening 20 minutes. Fairly even matchup. Bell Swans created the better of the chances in the first half. Michael Peachy and Simon Frary for Kahibah in goals. Not too busy, but some decent saves. I thought Peachy was probably the standout of the 2 goalkeepers today. Second half, Peter Malore was fouled by Bell Swans' Kurt Hodson, sent off for a second yellow. Correct call, regardless of Bell Swans complaining, it was a yellow. Alex Evans came incredibly close to being the hero twice. Both times he wouldn't get it. The first time he was through on goals and then just scuffed his lines, couldn't get the chance away. Both teams threw caution to the wind, and Evans had a late chance to seal the win, but it was saved by Michael Peachy with a superb save, to be completely honest. A defensively strong game. Kahibah's Nathan McCarter on his 19th birthday today, playing a quality game in defence. I thought Ruben Ryan as well at left back did well down the flanks in the second half. For Bell Swans, Michael Peachy definitely man of the match. First grade, Belmont-Swansea United 0, defeated by Kahibah FC 1. An even start to the game, of course, but it became ever likely that Kahibah were going to score. They came out a different team than what I've seen in recent times. Well drilled, fired up, just what you need for a trip to Bell Swans. Not too many chances, but Kahibah came close to finding the opener as they hit the post with a low shot. A scoreless first half, but a quality game I thought for Kahibah. For Bell Swans, I thought they weren't up to the standard they'd set, and even the standard they reached in the first half against the Lambton Jaffas last week in the FFA Cup. The breakthrough would come shortly in the second half. Jared Penfold, the goal scorer, a low shot across goal into the far corner of the net. 1-0 to Kahibah. Penfold with the goal. He's 14 for the season, I believe. Bell Swans were never going to die wondering. They fired all they had, Sutton, Hall, Hadlow. Don't get me wrong, Kahibah FC played a brilliant game today. It was one of their best performances of the season. But Bell Swans were very, very threatening at times. And Andre Gumprech at times was, fuming with his team and the defensive style, and he kept it together well. You know, I thought Ash Ilfield played really well today, a standout player as of late. I'm trying to think who the other defender was belongs alongside Gumprecht. He played very well too. You know, you have to be good to play alongside Gumprecht and, you know, defend. It's a very high pressure position. Grinding win for Kahibah, I thought. They held their nerve, they won 1-0. A solid victory away from home against a team that were second, and now Kahibah is second, and next week they face Lake Macquarie City for a chance to take top spot on the league table. Big game in terms of the premiership. Kahibah next week, I can say right now, they're going to have upwards of 5 or 6 regular first graders out. So that's going to make it very tough. And that being said, Kahibah, you know, as of late, they've becoming a bit known for that 1-0 win, the late 1-0 win. Today, they scored with 40 minutes to go, and they held on, and they played really well. Take nothing away from them. It may not look like the best win on paper, but to go there and hold Belmont scoreless is a very tough thing to do. We go around the ground, and today I'm going to get a message. Don't worry about that for a second. We're going to go through this from under 17s through to first grade, instead of doing first grade through to 17s. So in the under 17s, Lake Macquarie City 3 defeating the Singleton Strikers 1. Newysports again tipped correctly after the 4-1 Westie over Thornton result yesterday. If you go back and read my preview for this game, I say 3 things. I say it's going to finish 3-1 to Lakes, Curtis McRitchie will score for Lakes, and Trey Proudlock will get the goal for Singleton. All 3 of those things happened, and I'm not happy with that, because, you know, I can't say that I'm happy that Lakes beat Singleton, or I couldn't say that I'm happy that Singleton might have beat Lakes. You know, I've got to try and remain unbiased, and these two, you know, Lakes quality teams, Singleton can be a quality team on their day too, but I'm happy that I got my predictions right, I've got to say that. Proudlock in great form as of late. Kyson Brown scored early, but Proudlock hit back. Lakes would seal the win, goals to Curtis McRitchie and another goal to Adam Mitchell. A crucial win as Lakes stay on top of the table. Cessnock City 3 defeated by Wallsend FC 5. I was supposed to edit this. It wasn't 2-5, it was 3-5. I don't know why that hasn't been edited. My apologies. I will do that. Cessnock City's goal scorers were Jeremy Noon ×2, and someone else, Brendan Gear, was the other goal scorer. It was 3-3 at one stage, but Wallsend won it with goals, 2 goals to Baraka Barindwa, 2 to Jacob Ray, and 1 to Ben Priest, not Dan Strazzeri as originally suggested. Will Forbes didn't score today at all for Cessnock in any of the grades, so he's been kept quiet. It was always due to happen with the form he's been in. Can't keep that up forever. Under 19s, Lake Macquarie City 4, drawing Singleton Strikers 4 in a game where I've been told defence was not at the strongest point. Singleton were without Nick Howe, who is probably he is their best defender, and he is probably one of their most, you know, consistent players. Let's talk about the goals. Lakes had a 2-0 lead early on. Jack Russo and Brock Torrance, 8th and 25th minute respectively, getting the lead. Singleton hit back Oliver Moody and Tully Windsor before half-time. 2-2 at the break. Josh Richardson put Lakes back in front, but Nathan Smart would hit back for Singo. And then Oliver Moody scored again to put Singleton in front, but with 4 minutes remaining, Liam Schult rescued a point for Lakes. A crucial point for Lakes, but a point that wasn't good enough to keep him on top of the table. It's a poor result for Lakes, to be completely honest with you. Singleton, you know, with Nick Howe out, Lakes should have won that. Jeremy Wild for Singleton, I've been told, had a very good game in goals. Lakes lose top spot to Belmont-Swansea, and that is their second draw of the season to Singleton. 1-1, I believe, in the first round, and now 4-4 here. Cessnock City 1, defeated by Wallsend FC 4. Wallsend just too good here. Reece Paprocky got another goal, getting a few this year. But the Red Devils getting the win. Baraka Barinwa scoring again, so a hat-trick over the space of 2 games. Braden Smith getting a rare goal. Nick Hagan getting a rare goal I don't remember reading out his name recently as a goal scorer, and an own goal. So Wallsend 19 to get a big win there. In the under-23s, Lake Macquarie City 4 defeating Singleton Strikers 1. Lakes goals to Nathan Ham, 2 goals, Gabriel Serta and Matt McClaw. Tom Hume the scorer for Singleton. Not much more to say about this, apart from the fact that Lakes are Southie to an extent. Whether Southie can keep it going or not, Lakes are the only consistent team in the 23s. Yes, there are some teams who are consistently poor, but in terms of getting wins, Lakes have got those wins, and in my opinion, you might as well start engraving the words Lake Macquarie City onto the minor premiership trophy, because I don't see them losing from here. And touch wood, I'm not hoping that I'm not trying to put them. What am I saying here? I'm not trying to write it off. I'm not trying to make it the commentator's curse, if you will. If they're serious, they'll win the premiership from here. They're 9 or 10 points clear with 6 games to go. It's their own fate, I'll say that much. Okay, we move on to Cessnock City 1 defeating Wallsend FC 0. Wallsend 23s. They just sum up inconsistency, don't they? They had a few players out today. Cameron Tapp was out. Tiga Marcus was out. A couple others as well, I believe. And luck has let them down. They lost. You may remember they lost very, very late. They lost to a late goal against Cessnock back in round 5. I was there that day. And it happened again today. David O'Hearn, Skip O'Hearn as he's known up there at Cessnock, getting a rare goal and winning it. The club legend winning it for Cessnock City. And, Wallsend sitting 4th position. Belmont-Swansea and Kahibah drew today, so Wallsend missed a golden opportunity to put some space there. And there are now teams like Thornton who are coming from out of nowhere. Thornton coming out of nowhere. Cessnock, that's what we've got to talk about here. Cessnock City have produced some quality as of late in the 23s, and they made the semi-finals last year, and at the moment it's looking like they will again. They're definitely a team to watch. And the 23s, I really hope that these draws end, because there's been so many draws in the big, in games for finals contention. There's not many points separate 3rd, maybe even 2nd, down to about 8th. It's quite a tight competition, and it's getting to the pointy end, and there's some big games coming up. Cessnock's next game, I will be there when they travel to Kahibah. That's a big one in the 23s. Let's move on to 1st grade. Lake Macquarie City 2 defeating Singleton Strikers 0. A fairly routine win here. 2 goals, one goal in the first, 1 goal in the second half. Sam Walker and Tom Walker getting the goals for Lakes. Let's talk about Singleton. They can't produce another win after last week's FFA Cup heroics against Thornton. They fall to Lake Macquarie City for the 2nd time this year. A lot more respectful this time. It's not 6-0. But a tough day at the office for Singleton. Kieran Burrell was missing, who's one of their main outlets going forward. Lake Macquarie City, as I said, a routine win, and a win that keeps them on top of the table, and they've got a big one against Kahibah next week. that game is at Kahibah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a difficult one for Lakes. Very interested to see how that one pans out in the race for the premiership. Cessnock City 4 defeating Wallsend 2. You'd probably be surprised with this result. I'd imagine, well, I know there's a lot of people surprised, but if you go back, I predicted Cessnock to win, and I don't do my predictions lightly, especially in first grade. When I did that tip, I thought this is a little bit, I'm not quite sure about this, but it certainly paid off, didn't it? Cessnock City picking up arguably their biggest win of the year, probably not as big as their win to Belmont-Swansea away. That was a brilliant win away from home. This is their first home win of the season. Sends Toronto to the foot of the table. Wade Atwell, Jeremy Morton, Kyle Clark and Mitchell Cox were the scorers for Cessnock. Trent Milton got a goal for Wallsend, and I believe David Hodgson got a goal for Wallsend. I might be wrong there. So Thornton this result keeps Thornton in the finals race, in my opinion. They're 6 points behind Wallsend FC as we speak. They have a catch-up game during the week against Belmont-Swansea United at Thornton Park. If they win that, they're 3 points behind Wallsend, and then next week they travel to Wallsend. The next six or 7 days will define the Thornton Redbacks 2016 season. That's a big result for Wallsend. That's a big loss. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not. Their performance at Cooks Hill in that catch-up game wasn't the best, and they've become known for that this year. It's grinding out results, and they couldn't do it today. They were outplayed. Kyle Clark is a standout addition to this Cessnock City team. I haven't seen him play yet, but from what I've heard, it's certainly working well. And the confidence coming out of the Cessnock camp is quite something. They know they're not a hope for finals. Let's be real. It might be mathematically possible. I don't know, but it's not realistically possible. But they'll avoid the wooden spoon. That's done it for me today. I can't see Toronto winning another game this year. To be completely honest with you, at this rate, I think the wooden spoon's decided. Cessnock City, as I said, the confidence coming out of their camp. I don't know. They're going to Kahibah in 2 weeks, and I say to them, give it everything you got, And I want to see that. I don't want to see these teams who are out of contention just, hack players down and just waste games. There's still a chance to possibly deny Kahibah a premiership, to be completely honest. Cessnock get a big win there. That's 2 in a row for Cessnock. And probably, they weren't too far off the pace against Cooks Hill. So, Cessnock have come from nowhere to win 2 games in a row, and long may it continue. It's good to see. And really, I think their match against Kahibah is going to be very interesting in 2 weeks with the confidence that they have. So we move on to the NPL. Yes, we do. Where today we'll go through 17s through first. Under 17s, a complete weekend. Adamstown defeated by Edgeworth 1-0. Western drawing 1-1 with Maitland. Lambton Jaffas defeated by the Mid-North Coast 3-2. Mid-North Coast's first win of the season in the under 17, so credit to them, coming all the way down from Port Macquarie / Taree all the way down to Arthur Eden Oval and winning. You can't go wrong with that. The under 15 Emerging Jets 3 defeating Charlestown City 0. They're in some form, the Emerging Jets. And Broadmeadow Magic 5-0 over Valentine. In the under 19s, Adamstown 1 defeated by Hamilton Olympic 2. Maitland FC 2 defeated by Valentine Phoenix 4. Charlestown defeated by the Emerging Jets under 16s 5-0. Another very good Emerging Jets team. And a bit of a surprise result here for me, Western defeating Edgeworth 4-0. Edgeworth, of course, made the grand final last year in the 19s. Under 22s, Adamstown Rosebud 1 defeated by Hamilton Olympic 2. Maitland FC 0 defeated by Valentine 2. Charlestown 0 defeated by the under 18 Emerging Jets 2. And Western Workers 3 defeating Edgeworth FC 0. Last but not least, the most important grade of them all, first grade. Western Workers 0 defeated by Edgeworth FC 3. Edgeworth go top of the table. They carry on from their win last week over Singleton. That's now, I'm not sure if they conceded a goal they didn't in the FFA Cup. So they haven't conceded in 3 games in the last week. And they've scored about 13 or 14 goals in that time. Western Workers. I feel like I've been saying this every week, they're lucky there's no relegation. They've played 9 games, they've got 2 points. No wins, 2 draws, 7 losses. And for a team, a club like Western, that's not good enough. They'll bounce back next year, don't get me wrong, but it's probably to be expected with the amount of players they lost, some of the calibre of players they lost. But it's quite surreal to see Western Bears sitting bottom of the table on 2 points midway through the season. Charlestown City, I tell you what, this is just horrendous for Charlestown. They were severely outplayed by the Jets Youth. 4-0 loss at home to the Jets Youth. The Jets, all of a sudden, back into finals contention. Charlestown just... that's not a good result for them at home. Maitland 0 defeated by Valentine Phoenix 1. Credit to Valentine. Going away from home, which they don't actually technically have a home ground at the moment. It is abandoned. Or, abandoned, that's not the right word. It's... I don't know the word. It starts with a C. I don't know it, but yes, their ground is not in use, so they've been playing out of Blacksmiths and West Wallsend and all these other places. Maitland were beaten at home by Valentine. That's the result here, 1-0. That is a big win for Valentine Phoenix. Take nothing away from them. And again, another big result here. Adamstown Rosebud 1, drawing Hamilton Olympic 1. A bit of a shock there. Adamstown have not been very good this year, and they've had their struggles with red cards and goalkeepers and more goalkeepers and more goalkeepers. I think they've had about 3 or 4 different goalkeepers. You know, Scott Carter's been suspended once or twice. I think twice. Then the other goalkeeper got suspended, and all these rumours. All of that aside, Adamstown picked up a decent result today against a very good Hamilton team. And Hamilton, after last week's frustrations, they're frustrated again and they've lost top spot on the table as a result. So that's the MPL. We'll talk about Zone League later during the week. This has been episode 22 of Newysports TV. I'm Ty Stedman, and I will see you maybe on Wednesday night at the catch-up game, Thornton versus Belmont-Swansea. If I don't see you then, I'll see you next week in episode 23. We'll see you then.